Hello, and welcome to the Power of Charms podcast and interview series. Today, I have such a special guest, Becky Jackson. You know, it's not often that I get to interview somebody that I've known for so many years and in so many different capacities. Becky is truly a multifaceted person. I met her with my work in the charity world. You were the executive director of JDRF, I believe, when we met, Becky.
I was.
And then most recently we worked together at Homeward Bound. But Becky has this really unique combination. She's like a triad of talent. I mean, you've been a banker, you've run an organization, and then you've been a charity maven. So I'm going to delve into this and start asking you some questions because what I think is so interesting is Becky has started her own consulting firm. So she's taken all of her talents and now she's going to share them with the world. It's so exciting. So Becky, tell us what you're doing.
Okay. I am excited. So thank you. You are a dear friend and a colleague, and I have the utmost respect for what you have built.
Oh, thank you.
And I really thought a lot about it, and I've done a lot of things. I've been very blessed. I've been moved my way up through banking for many years, ended up being the president of community banking, as well as starting my own bank in Chandler. And then, you know, things happened and I moved on to association management, which was the Chamber of Commerce in Chandler. And then I really wanted to get into nonprofit and women and children and homeless and things like that. So I then have been the CEO of 3 different nonprofits. So yes, and I feel like everybody has said to me, when are you going to share some of that information? Because I've always worked really hard for whoever. I'm pretty loyal. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And it just shocked me to the core, as well as everyone. And so now I am going to use my experience, use my leadership, and hopefully a little wisdom to help people in nonprofits or small companies that really can't afford the big consulting firms to help them, but maybe give them some good advice.
Well, and the advice that you give, I think, is really crucial because just in my work with nonprofits, you know, in order for them to stay alive and keep their mission going, they kind of have to think like a business. But so many of them don't do that, or they don't have somebody on their staff that can guide them that way. So with your experience in banking, you have that rare combination. So what is your perfect avatar client that you think you can help the most with your new consulting business?
To be honest, I think it's probably it's a combination of small businesses, small to medium businesses that are really looking maybe to grow their business, or maybe it's someone that's been doing their business for a while. And I've done lots of mergers and acquisitions in the banking world. And so really looking at what that is and how to help someone figure out if they're ready to move on or do something different. In the Chamber of Commerce, it was quite a shock when I left the banking industry as president of community banking and went to the chamber at the Chandler Chamber. And boy, when you go from a pretty big budget to a pretty small budget at the chamber, you really have to be creative. And I think my foundation in banking, really over those years, I wasn't one that always went this way. I took a bunch of this so I could learn a lot of aspects of business and financial statements and loans and all kinds of things, customer development. So that, and then I moved on to a management in nonprofits. So that's where my heart is. I'm a servant leader. I've been involved in many organizations. So I just want to give back as much as I can. So the nonprofit that's looking to either grow, sustain, or merge or change with everything going on, how are they going to pivot out of COVID and beyond? And that's what I really want to help.
Right. Well, they're all facing lots of different hurdles. In talking to prospective clients and everything right now, what trends are you seeing with nonprofits? Like, what's their biggest challenge? Is it retaining individual donors? Is it getting new corporate donors? Is it government funding? Is there something that seems to be a trend occurring with all of them?
I think what I think what shocked so many nonprofits, and me included, when I was at the last nonprofit, was just a disaster and COVID and coming. And if you really relied on the government for government funding, and a lot of your portfolio was in government funding, and then as the government decided to step back, that's kind of an issue. You've got a big basket that is really running out of money.
Mhm.
And so the diversity of the revenue is key. And
Mhm.
I think that's what I'm really good at, actually, looking at the buckets of cash that you have and having something like, yes, it's great to have a little bit of government funding. It's great to have events, but you can't live and die by both of those. You have to have an annual giving program. And I've done many of those and I love it. I know people look at you like you're crazy when you like to ask for money, but when I'm passionate about something, I really do, because I want them to understand they want to be part of whatever group I'm representing. So if they are part of it, they're going to see a big difference in the mission. So I think I can help with that. I've done a lot of capital campaigns, you know, change the mix. So a lot of board development. So I just think the main thing is making sure you can look at a balance sheet, you can understand where your dollars are coming in, and make sure you have a little bit more even than 80% in government funding and 20%, 18% in events. So.
Right, creating that balance. You know, another thing too that has always struck me about you is you're very collaborative. Like you, even when you ran the nonprofits, you weren't like, oh no, we can only do this and you have to do that. Tell me about some of the really amazing collaborative things that you made happen with nonprofits so they worked together and made them stronger.
Well, it was really shocking to me because in banking, a lot of bankers belong to banking type businesses, and memberships. So we all shared ideas. We weren't necessarily worried. I mean, specifically, we didn't share customers, but we weren't exactly worried about someone stealing our business, because it happens sometimes. But in nonprofit, what I really learned that was shocking to me is, boy, people, CEOs in nonprofit, development managers in nonprofit are very close to the vest. They don't want to tell anybody who they have. And we're doing it for a reason. We're doing it because of the mission. We're doing it because the kids need it. We're doing it because families need places to live. So I brought a group in Chandler together many years ago because it was evident to us, 6 or 7 other nonprofit CEOs, that a lot of our clients were the same, and clients would go from place to place. So they were having really, really nice Christmases. So one of the things that we talked about was back to school. And so we brought them together, the CEOs and the development people, and sat down and said, okay, first of all, take off any hat that represents your organization. You are here for kids. You are here for families. Let's figure out what the best practices are and let's move forward. And it was very successful, to the point where the city of Chandler adopted the For Our City program. And now I am one of the founding board members for the For Our City nonprofit that is going to be a separate nonprofit in Chandler that really brings the nonprofit community, the faith community, the business community together. And that's pretty unusual. Certainly wasn't me doing that. It was just the guts to bring everybody in.
Yeah.
To be. So yeah, it was really very cool.
To bring them all in and show them
you can't be good at everything.
The strength of collaboration.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, okay. So what I love about interviewing my friends that are of a certain age is that we've accomplished a lot. And not to get off the topic, but is that an Athena Award I see sitting on your desk?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I've never gotten an Athena Award, and I always am so excited when one of my friends gets one. Tell us when you got that and a little bit about that experience.
Well, I was president of community banking for First National Bank of Arizona, and been doing it quite a while. And Some friends nominated me for the Athena Award in 2002, many moons ago, but 2002. And, you know, you go through it and you just think, wow, what an honor to be nominated and then to be a finalist. And then when they announce your name and you are the Athena for that year from the Greater Phoenix Chamber, and there's like 1,100 people in the room back then, and they want you to do a speech. And honestly, I got up there and I did. I bared my soul in front of all these people, which I've never done before. At the time, I've never done before at the time. But I really had an aha moment. I mean, my gosh, they were so wonderful. And they stood up and I was like, I think that was my aha moment when I thought, you know, banking's been wonderful to me, but, you know, I could really do more. And that was in October of 2002. And I started as the Chandler Chamber of Commerce president and CEO in April.
Oh my gosh. So that kind of was a
propeller for me.
Propeller, yeah, to the new things that you were getting into. And so do you have any special person in your life that was a great mentor for you? I always have to ask this. Sometimes it's a man, sometimes it's a woman. I think you had a man that you told me about. Could you tell us that story?
Yes, I did, and I'll make it really brief. When I started in banking, I was only 18.
Wow.
And I was a part-time teller, didn't really understand what was happening. And our district manager at that time was a gentleman that I saw from afar as a part-time drive-in teller, but not close up. And he came into our branch one time and he was very, very personable. And oh my gosh, he just didn't seem like he was in charge of so many people. And I found out a couple of weeks later that he ran and facilitated a banking 101 program. And I did not have any banking experience, but I was told by my supervisor that I couldn't go because I hadn't been there a year. Oh. And so that really didn't stop me. I picked up the phone and I called his office to see if I could talk to him. And that was
Becky.
an unbelievable relationship with him. We still give Christmas cards to each other. He has really been instrumental in my life. When I made some changes, he was pretty much the first one I called. Mm-hmm. And he would always do this pros and cons. And if there were more pros than cons, we couldn't count that he would just miss me. If there were more pros and cons, that's really what we did. And he was so supportive in that. So I'll always cherish that relationship. I've been blessed to have several mentors in my life. So he's the first one, and he was amazing. So I learned a lot from him.
You know, that is so important, I think, to surround yourself with people that believe in you. You know, it just
he saw something that I certainly didn't see at 18. Yeah. And just kept me going for years and years and years. So he was there quite a while.
So let me ask you this, Becky. So you've had 3 really amazing careers in 3 different industries. Is there one thing that's been like a big obstacle to you in either of them, or anything personally that you've overcome that you would want to share to make all of us listening more strong?
I think the one thing, a long time ago, I was given a quote from Maya Angelou about what people remember about you. And I think the hardest thing for me, making that change, first of all, getting out there and doing things and having more confidence in that, and then having the mentors to help. But my dad always would say something when we walk out the door. He'd say, remember who you are, Miss Tabor. That was my maiden name. Remember who you are, hold your head up high. And then when a friend sent me, and actually it was my mentor that I just talked about, he sent me the quote that Maya Angelou has, and it says, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I think that was the biggest challenge for me, because I'm pretty much an open book. You know, I'm friendly, I like that, but people underestimate my drive and my passion for getting things done correctly. And so when he sent me that, I thought, it doesn't matter it really doesn't matter what you say. It does, but what they're going to find out is, or they're going to hear, or they're going to watch is, how do I feel about listening to her? What is the most important thing? And I think that's what I've really tried. Anybody that I've mentored, any woman or both, a man, because I've done both, I really try to help them understand that, yes, it's important what you say, be succinct, but also remember, there's a reason people do business with people.
Well, I have to tell a personal story about this.
Okay.
It was my birthday and I got a phone call from the executive director of Homeward Bound. I was like, oh my God, that is so amazing. Who takes time to do that? I mean, even personal notes, but to get on the phone and sing me happy birthday, I mean, I was just overwhelmed. And I think that that is one of the very, very special things that makes Becky Jackson who she is you're professional, you're creative, and you've got a lot of talent, but you also are very caring and have a lot of personality in it, and you just bring it to the table in your relationships.
I don't sing, I karaoke, so that's why I only sing happy birthday. But thank you for saying that. Yeah, because you make people feel special.
So to segue into something, okay, so we've done several charm programs together for different charities that we've done, but I always like to ask my guests if there's a special symbol that means something to them, because charms are symbols that are wearable. And I believe in the power of charms in people's life to help them define their brand. And when you and I were talking, getting ready for this interview, you told me that you are a Libra, and that balance is very important in your life. So
it is, and that's one of the reasons why I am now doing what I'm doing.
Yes.
I'm a traditional workaholic, and I really over the years really realized, you don't get to do it the way you've always done it. I mean, if you do, then it's not going to work. And I've done a lot of soul searching with that. So I think balance for me is understanding that, yes, I've had a staff and I've had people help me all my life, granted. However, I am very capable of doing a Zoom call. I am very capable of putting a proposal together. I am very, so I think I've learned a lot in the last probably 7 or 8 months, a lot more. And I really want to do something and kind of share that with the world. So I think Libra probably helps me right now the most, because I'm a true blue Libra, if you're into that.
So but I like a scale. You have your life is very balanced, right? So scale would be the symbol of your life. All right, Becky, tell us, I know you've been working so hard putting this whole consulting business together. Are you having any fun? What do you like to do for fun and relaxation?
I am. Just until yesterday, we had our 7-year-old granddaughter, Ivy, with us since September, doing virtual first grade. Not me, but my husband was doing virtual first grade with her. And we both had our shots, and our kids have, and everything. So she really needed to get back in with her friends. And so she started school yesterday. And I think what that time with her was really special for me, because I was always gone. I was always working, and Papa was here, and then I was here. And she goes, Grandma, every once in a while she'd say, Grandma, are you sure your boss isn't going to get mad if we have lunch today?
Oh, that's precious.
I said, she's really, really nice. So I'll talk to her. So I think overall, that is probably the coloring. We color, we karaoke, we sing. And she's a great artist. I mean, an unbelievable artist at 7. She just has a natural talent. And she's really fun. So seriously, I think that has helped me relax a little bit and do some fun things. And this morning I was getting ready for you, and a song came on the radio, and I went and got my hubby, because this house is really quiet, and we danced. So I think you really do need to figure out where the joy is in your life and get it balanced. And that's I'm not great at it sometimes, but that's really what I'm doing. And to kick off this business, there's been so much joy and so much positive response from everyone that I couldn't be more, I'm more blessed than I ever dreamed that I would be. So.
Well, to me, Becky, this is just the next chapter for you. This is the culmination of all the work that you've been done, all the wisdom you've acquired, and your bubbly, amazing personality as well. It's just the perfect combination. I think it's also really nice at this point in your life, you're also being able to sit back, dance with your husband, and enjoy your grandchild. So
the thing about it is, I'm not ready to retire. There's
no.
And so I need to do something, and I am, and I'm very thrilled. And I just want to thank all those that have reached back out to me. And those of you that don't know me yet, you can go on my website and see me.
Well, and it's BeckyJackson.com, right?
Becky-Jackson.com.
I mean,
Yep.
that's easy to remember and great. Also, you had a wonderful write-up in Front Doors Magazine. And this was in this month's issue. So I recommend anybody, you can go online and read all about Becky also in Front Doors Magazine, but your website is fantastic. And whether you're a charity or a business, Becky can bring a lot to the table. And I know you've helped me. We're going to do some work. And I just look forward to having more fun with you.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited. Just thank you, Kay, to you, because you're a blessing in my life. And I've got lots of folks that are. But honestly, to get me to do this is an accomplishment. So you should feel really good. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your time, Becky. I appreciate it.